So this here is Dana Schwartz, and she's a new, quite crazy writer for Marvel. And the main question I want to ask you guys is this woman good for business? Look, the bottom line to hiring a writer to write stories for an established franchise is to sell comics, sell novels. If not, you better at least be bringing some great ideas to the table that enable other writers and artists to sell comics. But she says things about straight people and white people that will probably hurt business. Let's take a look. Marvel Studios She-Hulk writer Dana Schwartz compares men to Oscar the Grouch as she continues her man-hating Twitter tirades. So in a comic book franchise that's been dominated by men for decades, you bring in someone who hates men, and on top of it, hates white men, who have also been pretty much a main customer base. I'm kind of dumbfounded. I don't know why anymore. I used to think it was message. It's not money. I guess it's just ignorance, and they're sinking their own ship. Here it is. Every straight relationship. So now she's taking a swing at straight relationships? It's almost like they're playing a game in the comic book industry, entertainment industry, who can say the dumbest, wokest thing and lose the most money. It's really the reality of the situation. The things people say keep getting dumber and dumber, and the money they lose keeps getting more and more to the point where the franchises can't survive anymore. So what are they doing? Who hired her? Who sat down and thought this person would be a good writer? Unless she just lied through her teeth at the interview and acted like a normal person, then tweets out stuff like this for tens of thousands of people to see. Me, myself, look, I'm not spending any money on any entertainment until I see it's good and it deserves the money. Best example off the top of my head is The Joker. Well done movie, it had heart, it had soul, and it was actually crafted well. Now, I didn't say I'm not going to see these things because, hey, I've got a channel here, I want to talk about things, so I'll see them, but I am not paying for them. I've got a friend. He gets everything. I don't ask him how, but I could just sit on his couch and watch the stuff with him. So if he happens to get some Marvel movie I don't want to pay for, that's none of my business, but I'll check it out with him. As of writing, the tweet has been retweeted over 18,000 times and has been liked by over 164,000 idiots. Now, some people may think this is a joke, but Schwartz's past tweets regarding her hatred of men provide context that it's more than likely not a joke, and she truly thinks men are like Oscar the Grouch, with the comparison being they are garbage. Dana Schwartz's history of hating men. Just recently she attempted to blame men for questioning her credentials that landed her a role as a She-Hulk writer. Isn't that what you do when you hire someone, question their credentials? She claimed it was sexist to even question her about those credentials, while also claiming her employers also have the right to question her, contradicting her own idiotic self. Basically, if you're a woman being hired by the man and the man is professional and he's not outright doing weird things making you feel uncomfortable in a sexual way, he could ask you whatever the F-U-C-K he wants because he's hiring you for a job that's going to pay your bills, feed your kids, and so on, and not only that, feed his kids and pay his bills. So it's not like you're going to hang out and, see which friend gets to write the thing with you. She has specifically taken issue with white men claiming they were gatekeepers of literature and important books. She's even called for banning of books written by white men. Obviously, we shouldn't ban all the books by white dudes. And by the way, she hides behind the word white dudes, like many of them do, because it just makes it feel like a little lighter and funner and more of a joke, but, she means white men or white people, so please stop saying dudes. I think it just shows how people are so furiously and desperately attached to the canon that they respond to a slightly hyperbolic point made in half jest with such vitriol. Well, here's the thing. The canon is some of the best, most legendary things ever written in the world, and that's why we hang on to it, because it's actually masterful. We don't hang on to the canon because it was written by white men. And I'll tell you what, when I was reading it, when I was like 8 or 9, when I could, finally start reading it, I honestly didn't know who wrote it. I didn't know who Stan Lee was until a little after, probably like junior high school. So if I found out Stan Lee was, say, not white, would I care? Would I be like, well, I've loved these things since I could read, but oh no, Stan Lee isn't white. I better rethink this. Or if it was a woman, if I found out a woman created Wolverine, would I think any different? I'd be like, no, wow, that's pretty interesting. So, it happened to be Stan Lee, but it also happens to be absolutely legendary. And she can't write anything close to that. I mean, compare this woman to Stan Lee. Compare their minds, their capability. It's pretty much like a -2 versus a 1 billion off the charts. Anyways, I think you get the gist of Schwartz's outright hatred of men. Despite her claiming it's all a joke, it's quite clear a lot of her statements are not jokes despite what she claims, and even if you do believe her that it's all just jokes, there appears to be an underlying truth to the jokes as she repeatedly uses the same material over and 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 over again. It tells you something about the people and the company who hired Schwartz to write for She-Hulk, doesn't it? I think that's what I started saying when I started the video. Something like that. Who are these people that are hiring her? Or she's, acting to be a completely different person when she takes the interview. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think down below. I'm doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. That's it. We're done. I'm ending it. See you next time.